So in this video we're going to look at multiplying decimals with whole numbers. We've got two examples here. We're going to start with the first one, 0.45 times 4. We're going to write our equation out just like we usually do with multiplication. Now there are different strategies to work out multiplying decimals, and in the strategy I want to teach you, I actually want you to just forget about the decimal for now, and we will add it back in at the end. Now there is a particular reason for this. It may not be clear to you at the moment in these more simple equations, but as the equations get harder, this strategy can really help you to understand where the decimal place can go. So let's get started with this one. 5 times 4 is 20. So we're going to add our little plus 2 there for the carrying. 4 times 4 is 16 plus 2 is 18. We're going to forget the decimal for now. Then we go 4 times 0 is 0. And plus 1 though is 1. Okay. And then what we're going to do is, so we've finished our answer now, but now we're going to add the decimal in. And because in our question part above the line there are two decimal places, okay, there are two numbers after the decimal, we're going to add the decimal here so that there are also two decimals in the answer. Okay, so our answer now becomes 1.8. So we leave our decimal at the beginning and we forget about it and we add it in at the end. Okay, now this is just one strategy to multiplying decimals. Now moving on to the second question. This time I'm also going to show you a checking method. So we're going to add to the equation now by using estimation as a checking method. Now how we estimate is we just look at the front two numbers or the whole numbers of the question. So there's a 3 in the whole number and then another 3. So 3 times 3 is 9. We just do a quick little estimation and I put it in a bubble over the side. So there's our estimation, 3 times 3. So we just forget about the decimals. We just look at the whole numbers and we calculate those whole numbers together. So that's just a rough estimate. Okay, it is not going to be the exact answer. Now we're going to do our calculation. So we lay it out like we normally do with multiplication. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 6 is 18. Forget about our decimal for now. 3 times 3 is 9 plus 1 is 10. And because we have two decimals in the question, we're going to have two decimals in the answer. So there is our decimal point. 10.86 is our answer. And if you compare that to our estimate from the start, you can see that that's a very close estimate. Okay, the estimate was 9 and the answer was just over 10. Okay, so there we can see that we have probably calculated the correct answer. So the estimate just helps you to ensure that the reasonableness of your answer. Alright, we're going to try one a little bit harder. So again, we're going to try the estimate. Now this one's going to be a little bit harder because it is a bigger number. So instead of trying to calculate 4 times 46, we're just going to round 46 to 50. Okay, so 4 times 50, we would work out to be 200. So we want our answer to be around the 200 mark. Okay. In this question, you'll be able to see a little bit more why the estimation is so important and is a really good checking method. So we're going to lay our question out like normal. And you're going to have to remember back to your multiplication. Okay, double digit numbers. We start with the 6. 6 times 7 is 42. 6 times 3 is 18. Plus 4 is 22. Forget our decimal. 6 times 4 is 24, plus 2 is 26. Okay, we're going to move on to our next one. So we put our 0 there, cross out our other ones. And now we're going to go 4 times 7 is 28. 4 times 3 is 12, plus 2 is 14. 4 times 4 is 16, plus 1 is 17. We're going to add all of these together. 2 and 0, 2 plus 8, 6 plus 4 and 1, 2 plus 7 and 1, and 1 plus 1. Okay, and once again we have 2 decimal places in our question. Okay, so the question is everything above the top line. And so we're going to have 2 decimal places in our answer, which means our decimal goes there. So now you can see that our answer is 201.02, which is very close to our estimate of 200. So what we want to do is, what I'm going to show you now is the reason why this estimate is a good checking method. If you were to accidentally put your decimal in the wrong place, I'm going to use blue to show you this one. If you were to put your decimal here by accident, okay, and you had 3 decimal places, your answer would be 20.102. And you'd be able to see by your estimate that that is probably very unlikely. Okay, it's not very close and therefore probably not the right answer. If you were to put your decimal over here and therefore only having 1 decimal place, your answer would be 2010.2. Once again, very far away from 200. Okay, so as you can see, the estimate just helps you to ensure that you've put your decimal in the correct place. Okay. Now, to work these out with your calculator, it's quite simple, and this is using technologies to help you. You would type your equation in. So our first one, well, we won't use the first one. The second one was 3.62 times 3. And you press equals, and you can see that we got the same answer. Okay, so you can use, if you have access to a calculator, you can also use the calculator as a checking method. For the second one, we had 4.37 times 46 equals 201.02. And once again, you can see that we have the correct answer. So to finish off, we're just going to review multiplying decimals with whole numbers. We first estimate using rounding of the whole numbers. We multiply using the same multiplication strategies as whole numbers. We add our decimal, and then we check our reasonableness of our answer using the estimation. And the other method we have also looked at is checking with a calculator.